Welcome to You Should Know, a series about the things you should have been taught in high school, but weren't. In each episode, we'll dive into a topic that's important to understand and easy to implement into your life. We'll talk to experts, break down complex ideas, and give you the information that you need to make informed decisions. So whether you're looking to learn something new or just want to stay up to date on the latest news, You Should Know is the place for you. So give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and let's get started. So we're going to get started. I'm Danae Hicks with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. I serve Ellis County as the Family Community Health Agent. Today, I asked our guests to come on and talk about winter emergency preparedness. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we're going to hop right into questions.
Hi, everyone. I'm Payton Morris. I am a disaster assessment and recovery agent with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. I'm one of many that cover the state of Texas, and I'm very happy that Danae asked me to be here today.
All right. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. So the first question I have for you, winter's basically here. What are some key considerations for families when it comes to preparing for winter emergencies?
So it's definitely going to be family specific. One thing I like to make note of is having a plan in place, knowing what to do if there is another snowmageddon in Texas, like there has been for several years. And so just having that kit ready with all of your preparedness needs and having a plan in place that all of your family is on the same page is a key point to have for each family.
Okay, so you talked about emergency preparedness kits. What items should people have in those?
So definitely have something readily available in your home and as well as in your car. Things that I like to say for a go bag in your vehicle in case you do have to travel in something like an ice storm, something like that. Ice scrapers for sure. A lot of us Texas folks don't have ice scrapers in our cars because we're not from the north. And every year, each winter, we're shocked that it gets cold in Texas. So definitely keep an ice scraper in your car, jumper cables, flashlights with batteries. That is a key point. Make sure you have the batteries for those flashlights, blankets, phone chargers or other electronic chargers. And also you can have those battery packs for your technology in case you do run out of power. If there is a power outage, make sure you have battery banks so that you can charge your phones. And then also adequate food and water. So for the car, I like to keep dried snacks and then a couple bottles of water. Since it's just me and my husband, we don't have any kids. So make sure to have enough food and water for the whole family, including pets. And make sure that it's going to be food that will be shelf stable. Obviously nothing refrigerated. And obviously with winter preparedness, you don't have to worry about it melting, but keep that in mind.
So shelf stable, we're talking like granola bars, trail mix, stuff that way.
Go-to is goldfish because you can get the huge box of goldfish and just keep it in your car and snack on it, even whenever you're not in an emergency.
I love that. So we talked about what their emergency kit should include. How can families safeguard their homes against the winter-related emergencies? I know when Snowmageddon happened and the weather dropped, we had pipes breaking, and that was a lot of fun. So what can we do to the house to kind of prepare ahead of time?
So there's a ton of different resources online that you can gather. Just preparing your house, the typical ones, cover your faucets, being prepared, make sure that your windows are good before winter gets here so that the cold air doesn't get in. A lot of counties and communities have a lot of resources for what to do in a disaster such as a winter storm. So checking with your county and knowing what resources you have readily available is a huge key component to being prepared for winter storms and winter preparedness.
What resources should people look for? Like, who would they reach out to in that case?
definitely look out to. So Ellis County has a county liaison officer through the Texas Division of Emergency Management. He is a great resource, as well as Ellis County Emergency Management. A lot of the social media pages will have updates whenever there is severe weather coming through. So keeping an eye on those social media pages, and as well as having an alternative communication source, like a radio that is battery powered and not a plug-in, which is obsolete these days, but having something that is not just your phone, having an alternative communication source as well.
Are there special steps a family should take in the event of a power outage?
Staying calm is the number one tip for any emergency, especially for winter weather, severe weather. It's obviously not going to be something as drastic as a tornado. It's more slow moving. It kind of sneaks up on us Texans. So staying calm and knowing your plan ahead of time. So that preparedness aspect, right? And also recovery aspect. So some plans to have in place in the event of a power outage is knowing where to look for your information. Like I said earlier, those radios talking about the incoming weather, knowing who to contact, having those, if you have any medical conditions, having those listed, being prepared if you are trapped in your home for numerous days and you do have a medical condition, making sure that you have your medication and any sort of that aspect prepared beforehand, in case an entire community is out of power for long periods of time. And then just also just staying in touch with everyone, having a plan in place, knowing who to contact, and having those go bags and that stuff readily available, so you're not stuck in your house.
If families have older adults living with them, like grandparents, or like even if my parents were here, are there any other like things we need to think about with like someone that's older or even someone that's younger, the 3-year-old? So are there any like special accommodations that we need to make with them?
So with younger populations as well as elderly populations, keep in mind that they're more susceptible to, if they get cold, they can get sick for longer, and their immune systems are not as great as others. And so making sure that they have warmth is crucial. So having blankets, having a heat source, and just knowing what to do. Like I said, I've repeated it so many times, but if your power does go out, know what to do before your power goes out, just so you have that plan in place instead of trying to scramble whenever it's below 32 degrees and you're stuck in your home and no way to get out.
Yeah, that's important, right? What are some good heat sources? Because I know some people will bring in like propane heaters or turn on the oven or things like that. What are some safe alternatives that people can use if they get in a crunch and need a heat source inside?
So definitely, I'm so glad that you hit that key point of safe heat sources. Some alternatives would be those hand packets, the heat warmers that you can stuff in your socks and your gloves, and then stock up on blankets for sure. And then if your power is not out, you can also have plug in a little electric heaters that are great at warming up smaller spaces very quickly. So having those on hand and just making sure that your home is insulated so that if you can heat it up, it will stay hotter for longer periods of time.
Okay, perfect. What about generators? And I know I'm kind of throwing this out of left field for you. It wasn't one that we'd kind of previously talked about, but is there like generator safety that people need to be? I know people really got worried after that last snow again, and we probably have some new generator users that don't necessarily know all the tips and tricks and probably didn't read their user manual all that closely. So is there anything like real specific that we need to make sure that we're doing?
Definitely know how to operate. If you do have a generator, know how to operate it beforehand. And there's a lot of resources that Ellis County will offer on how to properly operate. There's YouTube videos, and a ton of different helpful tips online, but knowing how to operate your generator safely beforehand, because there can be a disaster within a disaster. So if you're stuck inside for long periods of time, massive power outage, really bad road conditions, you're not going to be able to get medical attention as safely and efficiently and quickly as you could if it weren't winter weather.
For sure. Ice and snow and everything tends to slow it all down. So one thing that we really have to worry about in the winter is carbon monoxide. Is there anything that you would really like families to be able to do or use to be able to reduce the incident of carbon monoxide poisoning?
So, as is true with most families, don't take batteries out of your smoke alarm or your carbon monoxide alarm. They're there for a reason. I know the beep is so annoying, and replacing the batteries is just a feat in and of itself. Make sure that your smoke alarms and your carbon monoxide alarms and detectors are adequately working, and not sitting vacant in your outlet. And definitely have those in place so that, it's not a silent killer. You don't see it, you don't smell it, it's there. Um, like I said, it can become a disaster within a disaster.
What key messages do you want families to take home after they've viewed or listened to this? Like, what is the one thing that if they were able to make that change right now and implement it, what would be something that you want everybody to do?
So my key points were definitely have a go kit ready in your vehicle and your home, specifically for winter severe weather. Just being prepared, having that plan in place, and then also knowing what resources you have available prior to an event happening. Sometimes there will be warming centers opened up in your location, knowing where to look for those warming centers. DriveTexas.org is a great website. Also, you can check driving conditions. Only drive whenever absolutely necessary, whenever there's ice on the roads. And then also just knowing your local officials and agencies and organizations and the resources that you have at your fingertips.
All right, perfect. Thanks for spending some time with us today, Payton. I appreciate it. And hopefully they've got some good tips and tricks from you about getting prepared for winter weather.
Thanks so much.
This has been You Should Know. Don't forget to leave us a thumbs up and a comment about what you learned today. We're so glad you stopped by. And as always, if you'd like to reach out to us, email us at youshouldknowwithdanae@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.